Hello and welcome back to Impact Return Spanish Legacy National Championships today, Legacy main event tomorrow, and Modern main event on Sunday. My name is Julian Knapp, this is Kai Savatari.
What's up, guys?
And we are ready for the third round of Legacy. We already saw two amazing first rounds, and I'm excited to see what we're going to see in the third round. So everybody let us know in the chat, by the way, which kind of decks you want to see. We only have limited influence on what players are going to pick, what they're going to play, but we want to know what you guys want to see on stream here. And we got Sergio Martinez on Mystic Forge, also sometimes known as 8-key combo. This is the kind of deck that can completely run away with the game as soon as, I want to say, sometimes even turn 2, right?
It can. It is really explosive sometimes.
Explosive was even underselling it. Like.
Yeah, it's the definition of explosive. Not this time though. Like it's just no Saga on chapter 1 on the first turn. Riccardo, on the other hand, is playing the absolute predator of the format right now.
Oh yeah, I talked to Riccardo earlier today. I think he's also like part of the Wooded team, right? The Italian team.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and he's sitting on. Now look at that. Have you ever heard about this? Innocent little deck called Blue-Black Scam. Like, the deck is called Scam. Like, how bad can it really be?
You hate to scam people.
Yeah, looks like we're going to take out the Saga you already talked about, reset the game to the first game, and I'd be surprised if Riccardo had any kind of other play here. Yeah, passing back. Sergio, try again. You're going to have a different first turn this time. No, says Sergio, as he just plays another Urza Saga. He really likes that land.
Yeah, he does. Also, like, I don't know what he can get with Urza Saga, but if there is like some graveyard hate maybe in game 1, that'd be really good for him.
I like how we have like two completely different schools of thinking. I wouldn't mind about graveyard hate. I would be like, scam, whatever you want to do, I'm just going to get a key. And that key is probably going to make me so much mana, I don't even care about what's going on the other side. Like, you have like an
that's like a more,
or something.
Yeah, that's like a more like aggressive approach.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Uh-huh.
Probably like also just making tokens. Like if you go turn 1 Saga, I would think you either do like the weakest thing you would do is like turn 2 Ancient Tomb and then start making tokens, but that only really works well when you have like Shadow Spear or something, and I don't know whether that's in the deck.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll find out what the game plan is gonna be, because we see defense grids, we see Mox, Opal, like Lotus Petal, Mystic Forge, really good one. And is that Masterpiece thingy there? Is that a Paradox Engine?
It might be Paradox Engine. I know. There's like a couple of like artifacts from that set. Like I also know about like Trinisphere and the Sphere of Resistance and all that kind of stuff. But I think this is the Paradox Engine.
I would guess if it was Trinisphere, we would have even played it. It's actually interesting, you know. Sergio decided not to play the turn 1 defense grid that he could have played.
Oh yeah, that's really interesting. Definitely, yeah.
So that actually makes me think he either really wants to get something off the Saga very quickly, or he believes that making tokens is going to be good enough. Like in a vacuum, you don't know what you're up against. I can very much see that. And he's taking out the Forge. I think it's between the defense grid and the Forge. Like the defense grid is going to be so annoying sitting on those two dazes. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's... I have a feeling this is not going to be Ponder. See, we didn't even remove the grief. Like we're conserving energy here, right? We're trying to save the planet. We're not moving into the graveyard and then back onto the battlefield. No. Just like straight up reanimate. Oh, now look at that. It's like, yeah, you lost 1 more life here. First scam of the day, yeah.
I mean, we are in the undefeated bracket, you know. Now like this is where like the real like A tier, S tier decks are probably gonna see more play.
This is where the proper scams take place. Like I saw Bernie Madoff at one of the other tables there. Pretty sure. And what do you take here? Like you could, like taking the mana, you would have taken. Now, first of all, you wouldn't do that, and if you did that, you would have done that on the first grief. So I don't think you take any of the mana. And then I feel it's like defense grid.
Yeah, defense grid is a good choice.
Oh, I like it. We take what we believe to be the Paradox Engine.
Okay.
I don't hate it. Like in the end, defense grid is not gonna do like anything really. And right now, there's nothing you need to daze. And technically, you could even pay for the daze for the defense grid at some point. You also don't have Farcifer. And right now, it's actually going to be interesting, right? Because you run out the Ancient Tomb here. if Sergio has access to Shadow Spear, I feel like pretty good about his chances. But okay, well, there goes our idea of ever dazing. Honestly, if you want to daze, you do it now, I guess. But do you daze here? Like, no matter what you do, it doesn't feel good.
Oh yeah.
There's no real point in dazing.
This is tough. So yeah, Sergio like made a construct, turned on that Mox Opal. You do see a daze, you know, like it's not terrible. Like you can make constructs a little smaller.
Yeah, I mean, you can pay for it, right, if you want to. You got that Lotus Petal over there. But maybe you want to conserve that. But yeah, like construct-wise, it doesn't really make a difference, right? You either sack Lotus Petal or you sack the what's it called? The Vexing
Wobble.
Yeah.
Okay. So the question is like, you know, there's second days. This is tough. Like, on the one hand, like getting rid of that Vexing Bauble has two reasons, right? Like it makes the contract smaller, and your future Force of Wills are alive.
Yeah. You know, the biggest problem is like right now Riccardo doesn't have a plan to victory. Like right now, the way it presents itself, like I guess you can Brazen Borrow one of the tokens, but then the second one is still going to be big and it's going to raise the grief. So you need some kind of like game plan, and it's not the greatest game plan in the world right now. But I mean, it's not like you can like pick and choose, right? This is not, I don't know. There must be some card game where you always have everything in hand, like the chess version of Magic or something. Like you start the game with 60 cards in hand. Okay, second token. I gotta say, those tokens actually look really nice.
They really do look nice. Yeah.
I got the custom Savatarix ones that you made for me.
Oh yeah.
They deal more damage.
If you want to get them, you know where to find them. Savatarix.com, not sponsor of this channel.
Is that so?
I think so, yeah.
At this point, it sounds like one. By the way, shout-outs to MTG Playmats. They help us out, and they really, like, they might have actually put Sergio's Shadow Spear into his deck.
Oh,
Maybe I saw somebody of MTG Playmats just walking by, putting that to deck, me like, hey, you know what, you might actually need that later on if you play against Delver. And also Ultimate Guard. Ultimate Guard are something for the entire weekend, and they really help us bring this on. They help us with basically every level of production, anything you see here, so shout-outs to those two guys. As Brazen Borrower takes out one of the tokens, the one equipped the Shadow Spear, of course, but Riccardo still has a problem. Oh, we even have the On and Adventure Zone.
Yeah, of course. Of course we do.
Talk about preparation. Got the Entomb, that doesn't really do anything. Probably trying to get rid of that unless we find a Reanimate or something. We get a Force. Force does nothing in the face of Wobble. Daze does nothing. Entomb does nothing. Like, the best Entomb can do is Shuffle here at this point. This is actually a little bit... I don't want to say embarrassing, because it's actually the best way to play the game right now. You just don't feel good about it, right? You're probably going to see like something like an end of turn Entomb just to get rid of the two cards on top that don't do anything. But if you're Riccardo, I don't want to say you're mentally planning for the next game, because it's far from over, but it's also not too far away from over. Oh man. Passing back. And we also, don't forget, like, Sergio is also drawing a card every turn, so what? Oh yeah, he even does it before he draws. What? He's like, I don't even need to look at my top card. Did he know about it? I don't know. He's like, I'm definitely gonna equip here. It's just too good. Yeah.
Okay, got an attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I believe. Yeah.
Dude.
But more importantly, this is lifelink, 6 damage.
Yeah, the grief is like, why do I not have lifelink? They really missed a keyword on grief. Grief really needed some kind of extra keyword. I don't know. We talked about initiative. Like, I'd be happy with, like, I don't know, haste or something. Make it work.
Okay.
Ooh.
I mean, here's the Shuffle Entomb. Riccardo still has a lot of good top decks, I think. Like, if Truxa goes probably into the bin. Like, if he top decks any like cantrip or any way to reanimate this Atraxa, you know, like this Ursa Saga game plan completely crumbles, I think.
Honestly, the best thing you can draw here is just a second copy of Brazen Borrower, which is probably not in the deck. But a second copy of Brazen Borrower would completely reset Sergio's game plan, right? There's nothing Sergio can do at this point. And it is Spray Force of Will that we do not. This is this is basically what we call the Magic Online bug. You put a card on top that you don't want, you shuffle, you draw it.
Yeah.
I guarantee the next card of Riccardo is going to be Days. It's basically written. Like, Riccardo already knows it, right? Riccardo's going to be like, you know what, I'm going to concede. I'm caught in the conspiracy tin head theories of Magic Online bugs. See, we're even going to shuffle again. Can we make out what would have been the top card? I want my conspiracy theory to be confirmed here. No.
Nope.
Doesn't even look at it. He already knew it. He's like, no. I'm not falling for that. Defense grid still around. Defense grid comes out. We attack again. And Riccardo's going to draw Days. And that's going to be it for the first game. I'm going to call it. Yeah. It's kind of funny, right? Sergio was initially very much insisting on wanting that Ursa Saga, right? He could have taken a couple of other like early turns. He could have cast like a, I don't know, defense grid early on. But it's, you know what, when I think about it, we already quickly talked about this. Sergio doesn't know what Riccardo is playing, most likely. Yeah. So the defense grid could have been an entirely wasted turn. If he's up against, I don't know, you know, we just saw Cradle Control and bunch of
Sneak and Show, whatever.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So I like that he went for the progressive play over there. Like he wanted to put something on the board, even though it's not his game A plan. And maybe not reading too much into it, but that's very often the sign of a player who's very experienced with the deck, right?
Absolutely.
Who know what the different game plans are and who know what the deck is capable of. And especially like knowing that the Shadow Spear is in there, you are really insulated against a lot of decks. Like, people would sometimes say, okay, against Delver, I'd rather have the turn 1 defense grid because then I can do whatever I want. But the problem is, like, these decks, Delver is not the big dog anymore. These decks, it's Scam, right? And Scam doesn't, like, it kind of cares about defense grid, but in many ways it doesn't.
Right.
So you're like, I'd rather have the big aggressive thing on the board. And yeah, worked out in the first game. So
definitely worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Saga like one of the most powerful lands ever printed. I think you can play it as a 4-off, and the Ursa Saga decks in Legacy are strong in particular because you can go either the combo route or you can go like constructs and just speed your opponent down to death. You know, got scammed, didn't matter. All right, let's go to game number 2.
You know, I'm curious what Riccardo's going to bring in, because I feel like these blue-black scam decks, they are often well aware that they have like this blind spot in Artifact Hate. They can't really go all that well after Artifact cards. And I sometimes see stuff like Energy Field, not Energy Field, but so Energy Flux.
Energy Flux, oh wow.
Yeah.
That's a vintage all-star. It used to be one. I don't know if it sees a lot of play these days.
Have you ever played Workshops?
I did not. No, I'm usually like an anti-workshop player.
I played everything pretty much in Vintage.
Yeah.
And the first time I played Workshops, I played in Prague Eternal in like 2014. And I went to the finals.
Oh,
shit. Look at me.
Dude. Good job, buddy.
In the finals, my opponent played Energy Flux, and I was like, what is this? I don't care. Tap my Workshop, pay for everything. He was like, no, you don't tap your Workshop.
What'd that do?
And I'm like, oh, my God, I lose my entire board. So yeah.
Oh, I need to pay for stuff. Interesting.
I'm used to other people paying for my
yeah.
stuff. That's how it works, right?
yeah. Nobody has that done to me so far.
My Mindslaver and everything. Dude, when is Mindslaver going to come back into Legacy?
Oh.
I mean, we already have Goblin Welder as a proper thing. We can make it a thing. Like, when you have, basically the way it works, if you have Academy Runes, counting Academy Runes as a land as well, you need like 13 mana every turn to go like Mindslaver activate and put on top. We can do that.
See, we can do that. Yeah, people hardcast Emrakul the Yonthlon all the time. So
yeah. Like, even if you're just halfway there, you can go like turn 2 Mindslaver activated on the third turn. That's probably gonna be pretty good. No. Honestly, okay. Somebody's gonna quote me as like Julian, quotes, Mindslaver is underplayed in Legacy, and they might be right.
They might be.
So a lot of mulliganing going on here, I believe.
Sergio on, yeah.
Who would have guessed that?
See, like this is like where Grief is such an like insane magic card, especially against someone who had taken mulligan. If you start on a Grief, like it's rough, right? Like, 'cause most hands that are on 6 or on 5 usually have like one big payoff. In this case, it's the One Ring. Actually, there's a second payoff in the Mystic Forge. in this case though. But it is so devastating. It like, everyone who's played with or against Thoughtseize back in the day after taking like a mulligan or two knows how powerful this is. And
so what do you take here? I like it. I was gonna say like my gut feeling was like, do I take Grim Monolith here? For like 4 seconds, it was like Sergio's just gonna scoop them up.
Grim Monolith. Grim Monolith is also a really good call. Because you can take the Grim Monolith and then focus your dazes for the 4 mana payoffs. That's a good line.
So I think it mainly depends on whether you have like a threat. Because if you don't have a threat and you take the Grim Monolith, eventually Sergio is going to resolve one of his like two payoff spells, right?
Oh yeah.
And then like they might still be able to leverage all of the value that they're going to get from the ring or whatever. Whereas if you have like a threat, you can sometimes go after the mana and then be like, okay, you get your payoff spell for like a turn or two. Or like in this case, I even force the first one. When you get the second one, there's not enough time to make it work.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a threat, you probably want to grief away the payoff spell and leave them with the mana, which doesn't feel great, but the alternative is even worse, and I think that's what Riccardo's going for. He might still have a threat, in which case, like, you don't say no to drawing one of the best hands you can, right?
Right.
Let's see what this is gonna be.
But like this is like the same time, like we got grief, we got forced, and we were on the mulligan to 6, but like Sergio still has a lot of mana to work with. I think he has like another land in hand. So any top deck payoff is obviously bonkers. But even like a top deck Ursa Saga is not terrible at all.
Is that Ponder?
Yeah, dude.
Dude, you could have... This could be an altered card, and I trust you. Like these days, when I'm commentating, sometimes I just notice the card by where on the board the people put them, right? The whole mannerism of how they move their hands and everything.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, this is like how you put a Ponder to the table, so it's gonna be a Ponder. I feel like somebody like reading in Braille. Like I don't even see anymore. I just feel. And here comes another Waxing Bobble. Insurance against all the annoying counter magic. Of course, Riccardo already pitched a Force of Will to Force of Will, so only 2 copies left.
No griefs allowed, no forces, no dazes.
Oh, there's this new counter spell, right? You can count. What's the name again? You can counter a colorless spell.
I think it's called like Consign Memory.
Consign to Memory, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I noticed there's like a teardrop theme in Riccardo's deck, right? The Ponder has like tears, and Consign to Memory also has like a lot of tears on them. You know what it means, like when you have a tattoo of a tear next to your eye.
Yeah, that's like what a lot of rappers do, I think.
Yeah, you know what it means?
Oh no, they play a lot of Ponders.
I like how innocent you are. You're like, oh yeah, that's what rappers do. It's like, like originally it means like you killed someone.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Yeah.
I mean, Riccardo certainly did. He's sitting at 2-0, so
Yeah, he already like took out 2 people here. He's down a game right now, but he's loading up the engineered explosives on 1. Yeah, which would take out the bobble. Probably going to be sacrificed in response, but still, at least you take out the key. Which side of the board do you want to sit on here?
I think at this point it's really even on both sides. It wouldn't be crazy for Sergio to crack that immediately. Maybe he top decks, into the 1 ring, or like a Karn, the Great Creator, something like that.
Or a 3rd copy of Crystal Rain.
But there is an Ursa Saga. Oh, this one is tempting. You gotta play this, right?
You definitely want to run this out here.
Yeah.
One of the best cards you could have drawn there. I mean, honestly, there are a ton of cards Mystic Forge can draw once it gets to like, how much mana is that? 7?
Yeah.
Now it's 8.
And like the Engineered Explosives looks a little foolish now. On sitting on 1 and not 0, versus the constructs.
Oh yeah, but that would be like a really tough read. I think if you were going to put it on 0, you wouldn't play it in the first place, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It
But
also looks like Riccardo just top decked his 1-off Atraxa Grand Unify, which is the card you don't want to draw like ever.
Talk to a judge about it. He's like, can I just put this into play? Like if the opponent isn't looking, can I just like do that? You know a card from Unhinged, from Unglued, like Cheaty Face? You know the card? There's like triple blue, like the big genie, like, I don't know, 4/4 flying.
Oh, yeah.
And if you get to sneak it into play and the opponent doesn't notice, then it stays there.
Oh, sick.
And maybe that's what we're gonna try to do with the Atraxa.
So how do you distract your opponent then?
No, that's the beauty of it. You don't distract them.
Oh, you don't?
You just like...
Oh, you just put it on the table and just...
like as if it belonged. You know, own the place. You're like, at trucks.
Yeah.
Pass.
Yeah.
And the opponent's gonna feel smart because you missed the trigger.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
like the
He's-
7-7
yeah.
dash lifelink. Honestly, no, I have no idea what Riccardo could like. Which kind of interesting interaction do we have here? He's like,
So he still has that consigned memory, which does counter a triggered ability, not an activated one, a triggered one.
oh yeah.
And you can also counter a colorless spell. This counter was designed to deal with Eldrazi spells that have a cost trigger, so you can get rid of the cost trigger and counter the Eldrazi. You have like a clean 1-for-1 trade versus Eldrazi's.
Wait, you can do both?
Of course, yeah.
Wait, you can do. Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah. I mean
okay.
that's.
Okay, so now I see what you're saying. Okay, see, I learn something new every day.
See.
I don't counter Eldrazi's all that often, but here
So
I believe we're gonna go after the second. Like basically, Saga creates so many triggers. I think we're gonna counter the trigger that gives it the ability to make tokens, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Like Ursa Saga does have a lot of triggered abilities, like the chapters trigger, for example, and you can certainly counter the triggered abilities on the Ursa Saga.
I think that's the question to the judge right now.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he really wants to smack Atraxa to the table. Okay. Okay, we're drawing, and you can already tell like Riccardo wants to do something.
Okay.
He's just gonna be like, I do this.
Yeah, this is an interaction you don't see very often. But basically, so from my understanding is that we get the second chapter, but the land doesn't get the ability to make constructs. So like it looks a little weird, everyone.
No, it's so fine. Like you could have also just like countered the second chapter, but you wanted to get the second chapter, right? But then you want to counter the ability that triggers from that gives it the token making ability.
Oh, yeah.
So it goes to 3 and eventually turns to something. But either way, Sergio's all like, you know what? I don't even care. I have this this forge. It's gonna give me yet another vexing bobble, and he might just pass back at this point. Like Riccardo is probably gonna. Okay, we're still like paying life to get rid of the ley line. Makes sense. Honestly, you might just crack the bobble. It's interesting because if you crack the bobble, then Riccardo might not crack the engineered explosives, but he's like in a prime spot to use his mana. But it's awkward for him because he doesn't want to just get rid of the key. But if he does it end of turn and then you crack the bobble end of turn, then he might draw something that you might have wanted to play on the main phase, but there's really not all that much that you would want to play on the main phase. Either way, we rather make we don't make the token. We
nice.
cast the Micros.
Okay, no, this is the first glaring flush raker we see on camera today. This is like one of the most popular Eldrazi's from the Modern Horizons 3 set. A 3-mana 2/2. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, you make a Eldrazi spawn, which is a 0/1, which you can sack for 1 mana. And whenever a colorless creature, I believe, enters the battlefield under your control, you deal 1 damage to each of your opponents. So this is a win condition. This is mana boost.
This is a sheep.
That's a sheep.
I use sheep in my painter deck as a copy token.
Oh really?
Yeah, when I use like the Mirror Breaker on like Fable of the Mirror Breaker ability, that's how I make copies. It's one of the best tokens actually. It's one of the few tokens I use over Savatarik's tokens.
All right.
You can't beat the sheep. But yeah, this guy really good. This like there's a potential to almost like burn out Riccardo here because this one's also gonna trigger every time you make one of those tokens, right? While also like burning through your deck. Riccardo is eventually gonna get a really great return of it on his engineered explosives. The problem is doesn't really matter because Sergio already got a really good return on his forge. Dude, look at this. Like, how many tokens are that? Well, I guess it says right there, 3.
Oh yeah, this is absolute like bananas. Like every single artifact that gets played, gets you a token, and the token's gonna shoot 1 damage to Riccardo. Like, I feel like the engine explosives, like it should have been cracked immediately. Before all this happened, or now you gotta. I guess you gotta wait until end of turn maybe. you know, to get the max value out of it. But you take so much damage now.
The problem is, like, if you had cracked it immediately, you really only take out the key, which might be good enough because, of course, it represents, like, quite a bit of mana. But now that we got the second copy of what's it called? Flash.
Oh, the Flash Raker, yeah. Glaring Flash Raker.
Yeah, we were second one, double-checking whether it triggers basically for both of them now. So now you take 2 damage on all of them whenever something comes into play.
Like, it looks so innocent.
Actually, no, wait, you take more damage, right? You play your colorless artifact, then you get 2 tokens, and the 2 tokens trigger each of those guys. So, like, you get 4 damage per artifact. Is that correct?
Think so.
Wait, is that actually, like, that's actually crazy. I mean, I've died to the Eldrazi deck many times. Usually I die to the 3 mana guy with, like, haste and trample and everything. But once you get 2 of them,
breaker,
this is completely nuts.
Yeah. I mean, this is how you shoot people.
Yes, very much.
Like, this guy looks so innocent. Like, I completely misevaluated Glaring Flash Raker at the beginning. I thought, you know, he can stick around for like 1 or 2 turns or so, but this guy is absolute phenomenal in closing out games. It does it really fast. The mana boost is also insane here. So
but we keep the sheep.
we do keep the sheep.
Keep the sheep. Can't stop the sheep. We can't stop the sheep. I mean, seriously, even if Sergio was to have like 10,000 lands on top at this point, and Riccardo gets to untap, like, what is Riccardo gonna do? Nothing, right?
It's tough, yeah. It's really, really tough.
Like even Energy Flux, like, maybe, but yeah. Like, even just the Flash Rakers, they're just so good. I mean, that's why we don't play Mother of Runes anymore, right?
Nope. Okay.
Shoutouts to the mother.
So looks like they're arguing about a Kozilek's command here, I think.
So I guess the idea is, if you play that, what happens? I guess he played it like for 0 or something. Is that the idea? So you can get rid of the top card of your library or something? We'll see. He looks like he passes back. What do you want to draw here? Quick, tell me something you want to draw.
Oh man, Energy Flux.
Brainstorm. Now we can't even cast Energy Flux anymore. You know, Brainstorm would actually be broken if it allowed you to discard 2 cards.
Oh yeah, even better.
Like, brain study.
Okay, so there is a reanimate. Not sure if there are any good targets.
I mean, I guess Grief, but that doesn't sound exciting. Yeah, not really all that many creatures. Oh, I guess, yeah, the Flash Rakers are on this deck, but that's not exciting. Nothing is really exciting. Waste.
Yeah, Spell Pierce is close to a dead card.
Animate Dead, yeah, that's not gonna do it. And then we don't even have a way to shuffle. Oh dear.
Yeah, this is rough. This is rough. Like, the reanimate itself, like, it also deals a lot of damage to you, depending on what you get, you know,
Yeah,
in the face of like Flash Rakers. Probably.
I mean, Riccardo has to try.
enough.
Riccardo certainly has to try, but this is over. We can even just get Shadow Spear, I would guess, and I mean, what's the life total? 15? You don't even need the lifelink. Honestly, we're probably gonna make enough like random tokens. Yeah, isn't he just like straight up dead to an artifact coming into play here? No, they only trigger on creatures, right?
On colorless spells. Oh yeah, like on creatures. Yeah, is the one damage.
The second thingy. Yeah. But I guess we don't have Ornithopter in the deck. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, come on. This is like,
There's another key.
I respect Riccardo for hanging in there, because there's this like once in a million chance that you still win the game, unless you missed something. But it must be rough to watch your opponent go through all of this and feeling like there's this tiny thing that I can still win the game, and I'm gonna hold on to that. Gotta have faith.
Dude, I gotta say, like, I really like this Mystic Forge deck. It is a we see the handshake right there.